So war, what's it good for?
Absolutely nothing. I don't know. Hello and welcome to Woodshed Reviews, where we look at films old and new, good and bad. On today's show, we're looking at the recently released Alex Garland film, Civil War. So, just been to see it. I've managed to mull over it for 24 hours or so.
Yeah, it's one of those films, isn't it? It leaves a lot to think about.
It does. I also don't know if I'm any more the wiser as to what I think about it now as to what I did when it came out.
Okay.
I don't know if you feel similar or if you've kind of formulated some opinions.
Yeah, I was very impressed by the whole thing. I didn't know what to expect going into it.
Yeah.
It kind of leaves you quite disorientated at the start. You're not sure who's who, who's the good guys, who's the bad guys. But in the real world, nothing's as black and white as that.
It avoids those things, and I think it does it purposefully.
Yeah.
As well, I think. Because that would have been an easy path to have gone down. It's basically a second civil war in the very near future in America, and there's lots of different factions. There's like four factions or something like that.
Yeah.
19 states have seceded.
The United States Army ramps up activity.
The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The three-term president assures the uprising will be dealt with swiftly.
Not 100% sure about it, but it keeps it very vague. Like there's the Texas-California alliance, which seems like an odd pairing.
For sure.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely kind of like doing that thing where we're kind of not making it crystal clear as to what we're not trying to reflect too much on current day politics.
Yeah, I think that's probably quite wise in a sense.
Citizens of America.
People of the Florida Alliance.
And the Western forces of Texas and California.
We're looking at it through the eyes of a war photojournalist, kind of veteran of the scene, played by Kirsten Dunst. She's used to kind of seeing this stuff overseas in other foreign countries and stuff, and she's kind of a bit more horrified that this wasn't enough of a warning. Her work didn't warn America to sort of like, you don't want this on your doorstep.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time I survived the war zone, I thought I was sending a warning home. Don't do this. But here we are.
I think maybe the thing I may be struggling with it a bit is I'm not really sure what it was trying to say, if anything. The basic story is they are traveling across America to try and get into Washington, D.C. to get an interview with the president.
Yeah, and I remember feeling as a viewer, you're kind of wanting them to interview the president to find out what all this is about. And yeah, without getting into too many spoilers.
Yeah, we don't get that answer. No. Definitely not. So I mean, it is a little bit like you're saying, seeing these things from afar, and then when you're watching this as a viewer, we're very used to the iconography of America and American politics, the White House and the Washington Monument that's all featured in it. So seeing it like this, and quite a realistic, this isn't like White House Down or whatever, what was that, you know?
Yeah. It's not an enjoyable war film.
No.
Or action film. It feels very grim.
Yeah.
And you witness all sorts of atrocities and horrible events.
Yeah, definitely. Not for the faint of heart, for sure.
And it feels very real and tense. I mean, it's incredibly tense at some points.
Yeah, it's definitely got its moments that kept you on your toes.
You feel like you feel the bullets flying by, and you feel like any of the characters could get hit at any moment.
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol. Every instinct in me says this is death. Bloody.
I enjoyed a lot of aspects of it, and then other aspects I was like, I wasn't entirely sure what the film was trying to say, if it was trying to say anything at all. And like I say, was it too concerned with being neutral and trying to not take sides too much, and then so you don't really get a grasp of, it's not interested in telling you how this happened. He's not interested in telling you
Yeah.
about the factions or explaining any of this stuff, which is fine.
Yeah,
But maybe the central story wasn't quite enough to hook me in. Maybe.
yeah. It feels like maybe the film was a warning. Don't let this happen. And maybe we don't live in America, so we're not sure what it's like to live there. But
Yeah.
we get the impression it's quite a divided country.
Sure. Yeah.
And if it keeps going that way, is this something that could happen?
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's not something that Alex Garland, because he's written and directed it, and it's not something that he's just pulled out of thin air. This is obviously tapping into quite real-time kind of events to some degree. Obviously, it's completely, extrapolating things and going on a slight kind of flight of a tangent and stuff. Yeah, I was kind of like not excited, but like, an event film like this at the cinema. It's not a big Hollywood production. It's a small, I think it's A24, is it? But it's their biggest budgeted film. So it's in that kind of sweet spot where they can pull off the kind of like grandiose kind of spectacle of a film that needs this kind of, particularly the ending and stuff, But it can be more kind of slower paced, character based, take some chances, make you feel uncomfortable. So it's got all that sort of things going for it, which I really enjoyed, and it was great to kind of just see something like that.
Yeah.
On the big screen, even though, as I say, it wasn't like a fun time or anything like that.
No, it's very grim. Yeah, and there's hints of what has happened. I mean, it feels like it's turned into a fascist country, perhaps. There's a faction in it that are like, there's a guy a soldier that asks, "Are you a real American?" Or what kind of American are you?
Yeah, Jesse Plemons' character.
Yeah, while he's dumping bodies into a mass grave.
Yeah, a loaded question for sure.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. What? Well, you're American, okay?
Okay. What kind of American are you?
I don't know, I got more of the impression that these sort of little factions were just people that were just operating within their own kind of bubble at this point. It maybe gave us a little bit of an insight into what was happening was when they come under fire from like a sniper in a house that's maybe like 100 yards away, and there's like two other guys who are kind of staked out trying to take this guy out. And Wagner Moura's character is like, as a journalist, he wants to kind of get the angle and who they are and who this guy is they're fighting against, and the soldiers are just like, this guy's shooting at us and trying to kill us. We're trying to shoot him back. What more do you want,
Yeah.
You don't know what side they're fighting for.
Someone's trying to kill us. We are trying to kill them.
I like Kirsten Dunst's character. I found her believable.
Yeah, quite battle-hardened.
Yeah.
Seen it all before, but maybe not on her doorstep.
Yeah, she's definitely suffering from things that she's seen, but trying to kind of bottle it all down.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that she can keep doing her job. And they come up with these moral conundrums, like they're having to watch people being brutalised, murdered, but if they get involved in it, they'll suffer the same fate at the end of the day.
Yeah, so they're just there to document it and show the world.
Yeah. So obviously it kind of takes its toll. Yeah, the young girl as well.
She's all new to this, so she thinks it's maybe quite normal.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
I don't know.
She takes a bit of, she's a bit of like a graduating into it and stuff. Her initial initially she's not even able to take photographs. She's not even thinking in that kind of capacity. She's purely in a sort of survival instinct sort of thing. But then she kind of starts to kind of flourish within that, I suppose.
Yeah, shooting on film as well.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. I'm not sure that's the most practical in this. I don't know, was there a reason for that? Or
I don't know.
She's just old school?
Yeah.
Vintage?
Yeah.
One of these retro kids?
Millennials.
And, Alex Garland has, I think, generally speaking, has always kind of produced the goods for me, whether writing or directing.
Yeah, tackles big themes and all under 2 hours as well.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem to, I mean, you could put a lot of his films in sort of sci-fi or horror. This one definitely isn't that, but they've always kind of got, like you're saying, there's a message, there's a theme, there's an idea, and they're always kind of, or I think they're always kind of original ideas he's putting out there.
Yeah.
So good to see.
Mr. President, do you regret the use of airstrikes against American citizens?
I did feel I was phasing in and out of it a little bit. It is quite languid in places, and then you have an intense kind of sequence of life and death, and that. I guess that's part of it, documenting that. I'd probably go back and watch it again. I think it maybe wouldn't kind of rub so hard in a second viewing.
Yeah, because I mean, I spent a lot of the first part trying to work out what's going on and what are the sides and what's the history of this, because it feels like it's towards the end of the Civil War, or at least end of a major phase.
Yeah.
So we obviously don't get the backstory. And I think there was supposed to be a scroll at the start which kind of explained everything, but that was taken out. So I think it basically wants to focus on, the chaos of the Civil War. And
it's about how it's affecting individual people, groupthink, the mentality of factions, and the kind of almost banality of war, I suppose, in places and stuff.
So you got the shopkeeper that's trying to pretend nothing's going on, really, just keep living as normal.
Are you guys aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America?
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
So I like how all the cities look really quiet, the roads, and there's hardly any cars or traffic.
Oh, it's great world building.
Yeah.
You definitely kind of believe that you're in this place and this has happened and everything. And I guess maybe because it doesn't go over and explaining things in detail and all that kind of stuff, it just feels more believable, because at this point, the war's been going on for however long. People are not going to be like doing expository dialogue about how this all started and whatnot,
Yeah, it doesn't spoon feed you.
No. And that's always appreciated. And it's definitely got a downer ending. I suppose we'll get into major spoilers, but Kirsten Dunst is our main character to up to 99% of the movie or something like that, and then she's kind of killed. Did kind of see it. It is foreshadowed. Yeah,
it was telegraphed, wasn't it? And she saves the life of the youngster.
I've never been scared like that before, and I've never felt more alive.
Yeah, it's very disturbing ending. The film felt like a warning. Let's not let this happen, and maybe not stoke wars in other countries as well.
But I think it keeps it, as we've sort of said, fairly politically neutral in that regard. It would have been easy, like I think I said when we came out, to have had the bad guys in MAGA hats and whatnot, and they never do that. There's even a line which I thought was kind of telling, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but when the young journalist sort of cites that Kirsten Dunst's character came to prominence when she photographed the Antifa massacre.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that the massacre by Antifa, or is that the massacre of Antifa?
Yeah.
And you can obviously read into that what you want, what you kind of bring into the cinema. We'll probably colour that in a little bit. So
it kept it vague.
Yeah.
There's maybe a few clues in there that you can join up. But it felt deliberately vague.
Yeah, which I think, as we said before, I kind of appreciate that, because it would have been very easy to have done it the obvious way.
Yeah, and then you take sides, and then
you add further fuel to a potential civil war.
Yes, exactly.
So good on you, Alex, for avoiding that one.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, so we'll give our rating to Civil War. I was going to say 3, I'm going to say 3.5. When we came out, I'm going to say 3.5, having pondered on it and thought about it a bit. Enjoyable is not the right word, but good to see a film like this being made, getting some traction on the big screen. All well done, well written, well cast, played, looks good. Makes you think. It's unsettling in the right places, in the right way.
Cool. Yeah, I haven't had an experience like this at the cinema for a while.
Sure.
I went in expecting a kind of typical Alex Garland film where you kind of enjoy a bit, but this one was really intense, gritty, felt very real. I appreciate that kind of thing. So I'm going to give it a 4. It could be higher, but but I would need to see it again, see if it stands up.
God bless America.
Four from you, 3.5 from me. We'll leave it at that. So there's no Civil War in the Woodshed reviews about Civil War. We're kind of fairly in agreement.
Yeah. Blessed are the peacemakers.
Yeah, well, let's shake to that. Okay, that's all we've got for you today. Hope you enjoyed the review of Civil War. Did you agree with us or not? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Cool.